Welcome, you over 140,000 awesome supporters of the channel and the 67% who haven't subscribed yet. Typically, as a Major League Baseball player like Alex Verdugo, when you show up late to the ballpark, you probably deserve to be benched, or at least have a talking to. Same goes for when you don't hustle, running the bases at certain points. These are pretty simple concepts to understand. You don't get benched for striking out or not getting good results. It's about the work you put in that eventually result in those good results. And if the manager of the team or anyone on the team sees you not putting in enough effort, they have a valid reason to take action and discipline you, which is exactly what Red Sox manager Cora did to Verdugo. The two didn't have the easiest of time together in 2023. It was pretty public, and it all goes back to the end of the 2022 season. During the end of season press conference, when asked which player would need to take the biggest step forward in 2023, Cora didn't even hesitate before saying Alex Verdugo, saying that they are going to push him hard that upcoming offseason to get him back to playing faster and quicker, saying that he believed he could do that athletic-wise, and Verdugo kind of took this to heart. But although it did bother him, he did realize that Cora wasn't doing it to bash him, which is what Verdugo said in his own words, also saying he knew Cora wasn't saying it out of spite or anything like that. He was trying to light a fire under him, and he kind of did, to kick off 2023 at least, because to start this past season, Verdugo was great. Through the first 2 months of the season, Verdugo hit really well, not for much power, but he hit for good average and was just a solid all-around hitter. But June was when the problems started to show up. In the beginning of June, Cora would bench Verdugo in the middle of a game in Cleveland for lack of hustle while running to second base on a grounder, also being benched for the entirety of the next game. To me, this was pretty interesting, and you gotta wonder if there was anything more to this, considering Verdugo had been good up until that point all season, and that was his only mistake, seemingly. So, okay, he's benched, he comes back a couple days later, and you move on. Verdugo continued to hit well in June, having a really good month, and continuing his overall really good season, a career season, actually. But unfortunately, that was as good as it was going to get, because for the next 3 months, Verdugo was just a weak hitter. Ironically, he actually had more home runs in the last 3 months than he did in the first 3 months when he was hitting well, but other than hitting a few more homers, he was terrible at the plate. And in the middle of this rough stretch to end the season, Verdugo was benched again, but this time for a different reason. After being in the Red Sox lineup and scheduled to hit 5th for them in a game against the Blue Jays at Fenway, he was removed from it about 2 hours before first pitch, and he was never used as a pinch hitter during the game, a game which the Red Sox lost, and after the game we found out why this happened. Verdugo was late to the ballpark that day. According to reports, he arrived to Fenway about 2 hours before the game, which obviously lines up with when he was scratched from the lineup. There were also some reports that Verdugo's inconsistent arrival times and varying degrees of pregame preparation have also been issues in previous years, which led into Cora's comments after the 2022 season regarding Verdugo and how he wanted him to be better. At this point, Verdugo was just a punching bag for Cora. He was so angry. Cora literally said that that was probably one of the worst days in the Red Sox organization in the post-game interview, saying that everybody had been available from day one and that today they took a step back, also saying this, watch.
We have to make sure everybody's available every single day here for us to get to wherever we're going to go. And that wasn't the case. And as a manager, I got to take charge of this. And I decided he wasn't going to play. Today, we took a step back as a team. We have to be available. Everybody has to be available. For us to do this, we have to be available. From coaches to players to analysts to the front office, everybody has to be available every single day here. That's the bottom line. And today, one guy wasn't available.
When Verdugo was asked about this, he didn't go off or disrespect his manager or anything, but he did respond with something that rubbed many people the wrong way, bringing up multiple times how many weeks were left in the season, which is a weird thing to say. It's not like the Red Sox were necessarily in the greatest of spots to make the playoffs, but for your own player to be counting down the weeks before the season is over is not a great look. And even at that point, you had to wonder if Verdugo was looking at these last 7 weeks as the last 7 weeks he'd be playing for the Red Sox, and that ended up being the case. Alex Verdugo is a guy I wholeheartedly thought was going to get traded at some point this offseason. He has just 1 year left before becoming a free agent. At this point in his career, I feel like we know who he is as a player, and I felt the Red Sox were ready to move on from him and maybe get some pitching out of it. A lot of people felt the same way, and well, that's exactly what happened. The Red Sox ended up trading Verdugo for some pitching, which wasn't shocking, but it's the team they traded him to that was, the Yankees, the night before they traded for Juan Soto. So Alex Verdugo, who's been a bearded Red Sox player for the last 4 seasons, will now be a clean-shaven Yankee. And in his introductory press conference, I guess you can call it, where he spoke to the media, Verdugo revealed that he wasn't happy right when the trade went down, actually being pretty mad about it.
The genuine reaction was, mad. I was hot. I was just like, man, they really sent me to the rivals, the Yankees, like this, that. And then after about a day, I just started sitting back, started thinking, just reminiscing about how this year went with the Red Sox, how just kind of everything that was going on.
But here's what Verdugo said that made the rounds. When talking about his new manager now, the manager of the Yankees, Aaron Boone, Verdugo didn't specifically mention his now former manager Alex Cora by name, but he very clearly threw some shade at him while praising Boone. Watch.
I'm very, very excited to work with Aaron. I've seen the way he has his back, like has his players' backs. I mean, that's something I want to see out of my head coach, man. I want to see some fire, some fight for the guys. I think just instead of airing people out, have their backs.
What? And by the way, me? Yes.
Now, this especially rubbed me and a lot of other people the wrong way. To indirectly call Cora out and talk about how he doesn't prefer a manager airing people out, well, maybe, just a thought here, but maybe if you arrived to the ballpark when you were expected to and showed more effort, there wouldn't have been any airing out problems. I don't think Alex Verdugo is a terrible person. I've always liked him and his style of play and the energy he brings, but for me, I think the Red Sox trading him was a good thing considering, like I said, he is what he is at this point on the field. He's an average, maybe slightly above average hitter who plays great defense. That's not a bad thing to have on your team. But after 3 years of it and expecting him to be better, I don't see it being a bad thing at all to trade him for some pitching. And then you factor in the problems he had effort-wise, seemingly, and how angry he made Cora, way more than anyone else as far as we know. This is just better for everyone involved. But these comments referring to Cora aren't the best, especially when the only one doing anything remotely wrong in those situations was Verdugo. There's valid reasons for Cora being upset. I don't think Cora cared about these comments. In fact, I kind of know that from someone who spoke to him about it. It's just whatever. Many Red Sox fans aren't happy. But the angriest of them all? Jonathan Papelbon, retired closer who had his peak and best years with the Red Sox, winning a championship with them in 2007, and also the guy who choked Bryce Harper when they were teammates on the Nationals, and who's now working as a NESN analyst covering and talking about the Red Sox. So Papelbon saw this comment from Verdugo and he was pissed. But I first want to acknowledge something. Most athletes tend to be more humble in their social media bios, talking about God and their family, maybe mentioning baseball, but rarely, if ever, mentioning any accolades they won or anything like that. You look at Jonathan Papelbon's Twitter bio, and the man is just straight up dunking on everyone, listing each accolade and accomplishment one by one. Like, yeah, I've had a very successful career in life. What do you want? I love him. Anyway, so Papelbon chimed in on the Verdugo talk and said the absolute harshest thing out of anyone by far, and I quote, Verdugo, I mean Vertigo, is a bitch. Cora has his players and teammates' backs more than anyone in the game. You aired yourself out by being late, lazy, and unproductive. If I played for Cora, I'm drilling this bitch. Just saying.
Damn.
I don't think Jonathan Papelbon likes Alex Verdugo, at least not anymore, that's my take, but yeah, wow. I guess if anything, all of this can heat the non-existent Red Sox-Yankees rivalry back up. That'd be the best case scenario here in my eyes, but for now, it's clearly for the best that Alex Verdugo is no longer with the Red Sox. For Verdugo and for Cora. Let me know what you think, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.